.0.
Hey there, this is Dot Zero. You come here to look at metal miniatures, and we just kind of have fun going through them. Specifically today, I thought I would go through old school metal miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons, and these are going to specifically be evil heroes. I've got quite a few pieces to go through, maybe 25 or 30 or so here, but my thoughts were that to be in this video, these pieces had to be of an evil alignment. So with that in mind, let's get started here. Again, this is the place where I go through these kind of just in detail, that we zoom in on the figures and just kind of reminisce and have fun here. So I actually just acquired this guy not too long ago. It's a Grenadier piece. I did not ever play this as a kid or as a younger person. Again, I just bought it here in the last year or so. But it definitely fits the category of being an older miniature that, in my mind, looks like kind of an evil hero. Looks like some kind of a helmet with a seven-sided star there. So kind of a symbol of completion, I guess, right? I don't know. Sword coming down through the middle of it. I don't know, it's just kind of a unique piece. It's almost like a pewter. Look how detailed this is. Yeah, definitely pretty cool. You know, since we had this other one here to start, let's go to it and get him covered. I bought this guy in Salt Lake City, of all places. And that was probably back in the, what would have that been? 1992 or 1993, probably? I did a quick trip all across the western United States before I started a new career. So it looks like he's got fur coming down the back here. Pretty dang neat piece. And it looks like he'd probably be of an evil alignment, but it's hard to know, I guess. Okay, so what do we got here? This guy definitely, in my mind, looks like he would be a Dark Hero Raoul Partha piece. Actually, this one might have a year on it, but I can't tell. I think this says 1976. Is that possible? I think it is. It might be a 1975. Huh. That can't be right. It's got to be something newer than that, but that's what it kind of looks like. It's got looks like a phoenix on the front here. I don't know if my camera can zoom in on it if I hold still. Kind of. Really cool axe. So this doesn't seem like old school metal, so surely I've got that wrong, but it's hard to see in the stamp. I guess it'd be possible. I just wouldn't think it would be that old. You know, usually the old ones look more like this, where they've got lead rot in them, and they've gotten darker over the years. What do we got here? This is a Grenadier. So this is 1986. Yeah, I think this is got to be older than that other one, but I guess I could be wrong. Another piece that I recently acquired. I'll let my camera zoom in here. I really like this piece, though. He's got this little, like, dragon thing or dinosaur thing on his head. Got these horns coming around the side, like kind of like the Death Dealer in a way. Oh, wait a minute. We got something else going on here. Hold on here. Okay, really unique piece here. Again, that's a newer piece that I just got. And until now, I just I missed it. So this might not fit our class. I guess it could be a evil hero, but he's got a tail going on right here. So this might not be a human after all. That's kind of funny, actually, that I just screwed that up. Anyway, look at that cool tail. Obviously got some kind of a dragon thing on his shield, almost like scales from a dragon. Really wicked cool shield, actually. Let me see if I can just let the camera zoom in on that alone. But okay, well, might not 100% fit the category that we're doing a video on, but actually a really neat piece. Alright, let's move on to this next one here. Definitely kind of fits our category as well. Looks like it's got a little bit of a bend in the axe, but I don't dare fix it. Cool sword down the front. I don't know if, I think this is just part of the helmet here, these kind of bat wing things on the top of the helmet here. Yeah, pretty neat piece, lots of armor on him for sure too. Can't really tell, I think that is just part of the helmet. Alright, let's see, what do we got here? Looks like this guy could have fit perhaps could have fit into the barbarian video that I did, but just based on now looking at the runes coming down this big sword, two-handed sword, I guess. Could have been in both videos, I guess. He's in this one. My goal is just to go through lots of miniatures and get them all in somehow, some way. That way you can see them all. I don't know, I can't tell on the bottom who makes this one. Alright, we'll move on to this one. You know, I've got a set of these. It's a little bit different metal, as you can tell. You know, the funny thing on these two is they remind me of Flash Gordon, of all things. Like, this guy would work for Ming the Merciless. Now, I know that makes no sense because Ming's in the future, and, you know, this is a different Arab, so to say, but it just kind of has that look with the helmet. Wicked cool executioner sword. I actually have a big axe, two of them that are like this, that were used for making cabins. They're so dang heavy, being almost impossible to hit anything with them. In fact, while we're on the theme of axes, let's go to this guy because he's got a really cool axe. But imagine how difficult it would be to swing that thing around. Yeah, it's got so much steel. Anyway, really cool helmet though. In fact, I'm going to get back and just let this zoom for just a second. See if it would zoom in on his head there, but it really wouldn't. Looks like we got, I think, an eagle maybe here. That's my guess, is an eagle on his back. And it looks like underneath it actually a really neat sword that's got a heck of a neat scabbard in there, or sheath, so to say. Yeah, look how cool the detail that is on that axe. Awesome. Alright, this guy could have been some kind of a pit fighter or something or other. I'm not really sure, but looks like he would have probably not been of a good alignment, so it's hard to know, actually. I mean, the more I look at this helmet, maybe this guy isn't necessarily a bad guy. He's got the huge wings here on the sides, so he's nice and aerodynamic. Kind of a neat little doodad here on the shield, huh? Be a heavy sword to swing around, quite a chopper though. What we got on the back here? So really not towards adventuring so much as just a fighter here, but a Ralpartha piece. Alright, how about this next one? Looks like we've got a guy that definitely would fit our category of being of an evil alignment, with the horns coming around the sides of his helmet. In fact, what do we got on his... You know, these are so small. Again, you see my fingers, you know, one knuckle is as big as the figure themselves almost. It's a lot of difficulty to see the detail on these. I'm using this IP Evo camera to try to zoom in. It's a document camera, but it, you know, works pretty good, but these are pretty small. Like, we got the two-headed eagle here, almost like a Scottish Rite eagle, if you can see it, or right Roman, I guess, would have been as well, right? Okay, let's move on to the next one here. It looks like he's got also a pretty cool big old axe with like a pick on the back, kind of it looking thing there. What's he got for a shield? Oh, here's that two-headed eagle is a second time. If I move really slow, maybe it'll zoom in, or if I can stay still, rather. Alright, so we got a big old axe, cool helmet. 1988, but I can't tell who makes that. Oh, I think that is a Ralpartha, actually. Okay, so same kind of design here with the helmet, anyway. A wicked cool big sword. Gotta look at that. Quite a long sword, isn't it? Neat helmet, too. This guy is actually, you know, it's so stretched out I can barely even get it into my the range here for my camera to see it all. He's got some really heavy boots. Golly, them things look like they'd be kind of a bear to walk around for very long in. Alright, let's see here. Oh, now this is kind of back to... Remember I was telling you that I had those ones that I bought in Salt Lake City that kind of reminded me of Ming the Merciless. And Flash Gordon, see that helmet? That's what I'm kind of talking about. Doesn't it almost seem like a futuristic thing instead of necessarily old school? But what's he got going on? Huge, like scale mail boots, I guess. They almost seem, again, kind of futuristic, and I don't know, this quite a pole arm here. Seeing even like the shoulder guards, you know what I mean? It almost seems futuristic instead of from the Middle Earth. Okay, well, let's jump back into, how about another guy that's definitely old school with some lead rock going on, it looks like. Got a really wicked cool two-handed sword here, great sword. Almost looks like some runes of some kind down in there. Be heavy with all these spikes on it, but really cool. What do we got down in here? Yeah, I always like helmets with antlers. They just always seem really cool to me. And of course, he's got the cape coming across the back. Now you can see that this lead, if you even touch it, see it's starting to come off. See, and it used to be in the old school days, if you didn't have a pencil, you know, I know it sounds crazy, but see, you could actually draw with these. I remember there was times in an emergency you needed to knock off some hit points or whatever. You didn't have your pencil. Well, it wasn't a big deal. Just use the figure. All right, I got two of these, but I'll show you side by side what they look like when they've got a little bit of lead rot with old metal versus the new metal. So we've got the same piece, two different metals. Probably, I'm sure, 2 different years, too. The ones are reproduction. In fact, now that I look at it, see, they even lay a little bit different. Look, this has a different orientation on that sword. See, it's more down towards the back, where this is flatter, and it's actually... Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the same sword. I think it's the same sword. For a second there, I thought maybe we actually had some slight differences, but... I think overall it's the same piece, and I don't think this is bent. That's just how it is. Let's see, look at the lead rot starting to get in these. He's got kind of a neat crown on there. I mean, I'm assuming that's some kind of a evil character, but I'm not 100% sure, I guess. Alright, how about let's go on to this guy. Another one I got in Salt Lake years ago. When I was on that trip, I didn't hardly have any money with me. I came across this store out there that had all these figures, and I practically didn't even have enough money for gas to get home, but I had to buy as many figures as I possibly could. Now this is a Grenadier, and usually the Grenadiers don't have this kind of fine detail, but obviously these ones do, so yeah, neat pieces. Got a lot of fur coming down his back. A little dagger on his side there, if you can see it. Pretty cool. Alright, let's go with, how about this guy next? A little bit of a different look to him. He's got a pretty interesting chopper of a sword here that's got a lot of steel in there. See if I can get that kind of a line for you. Small little shield. Look at that. He's actually a pretty muscled up guy here. Tall guy too. You know, looks like it was raw Partha, but the bottom's all ground off, and we all know how that is, that these things were so unstable that you would sand the bejesus out of the bottom of them to make them stand upright. What do we got on the shield here? Looks like he was a motorcycle rider. It's a Harley Davidson shield. I'm just kidding. Alright, what do we got here? How about this next guy? Another neat piece. Old school with metal, with the lead in it. Raw Partha, 1984. So a pretty old piece. Got a really cool mace. Oops, let me get out of the way. Let's let that zoom in for you. Get some detail out of it. Pretty big guy, actually. You know, even his gauntlets, look how big they are. Big gauntlets. Big round chunk of steel around his chest. Oh, look, that's a cool helmet too, actually. Here, let's flip him over. He's got the superhero cape. I guess good or bad. If you got a cape, you're a hero, and that fits our category. Alright, here, this guy with the bat wings on his head, he's got to be a bad guy, surely. Probably another Raw Partha. Almost all my figures, when you get down to it, are Raw Partha. Looks like runes coming down his sword. How about I get out of the way and let that zoom for just a second? Two-handed sword, right? Oh, look, he's got some skulls on the back of his shoulders here. How about that? I'm going to let this zoom for just a second there and grab another piece. Oh, okay, now remember, again, from that set that I told you about that reminded me of Flash Gordon, here's another one from that set with a different metal, and see how he's got like that unique helmet. you can't even really call that a flamberge. It's almost like that thing's like a futuristic sword, like the Sun Sword. Remember whatever that barbarian cartoon was from the 80s that we all watched, where he was like in the future or whatever. And yeah, see, look at that cool helmet. What is this, like some kind of a lizard or a gecko on his head? Wait a minute, we gotta turn that sideways and take a closer look. But again, yeah, it's almost like more like a lightsaber-y kind of thing than it is, or it's not a flamberge. I don't know if my camera will zoom in on that. Makes it pretty tough, but it is. It's like there's like a lizard thing coming down. See, this is the tail on the back of him here. How about I'll get out of the way and just like maybe like that and see if it'll zoom in, and I'll grab another piece here. Okay, pretty cool. Let's move on to this guy. Another neat piece, actually, with a lot of detail. I think this was a Grenadier, if I remember right. Yeah, it was part of a set from Granite Deer, and I was pretty impressed with these because, like I said, they did such fine detail on these that Grenadier didn't often do, and just a few years earlier on a lot of their pieces. But I remember when I saw the detail on these, I was like, oh, I gotta have them. And thank God I didn't break home on my way home, because I had to go about 400 or 500 miles after I bought these, and I literally think I only had like $30 left to my name after I bought all these figures that day. What do we got here? I can't even tell who makes this. Definitely old. Could be 91 or 81. I'm not sure which, but I think some other brand name. It's not Ralph Parth or Grenadier, I don't believe. Kind of looks like he would just fit our category of being a bad guy, so that's how he got in here. It looks like I got one here that's missing a weapon that could be added to him. This has got to be a Grenadier. My guess is probably that last one was a Grenadier as well. This looks older, though. So you can always tell, too, they're a little heavier when they're older with the lead in them. I don't know what we got going on here. Kind of a can of worms or something there. I don't know what that is on the front of his shield. And how about this? We'll go on to this guy. Looks like he would definitely be a baddie. In fact, I think we can confirm that when he's got some kind of a skull or some kind of a demonic image on the front of his shield. How about I'll center that and see if I can zoom in a little bit. Maybe I can turn it and flatten it out. You can kind of see it. But, look how small that is. I mean, that's my fingernail. And I have small fingers, actually. It's really itty-bitty. Okay. How about we'll move on to this guy. Another pretty cool executioner type axe. So I'm assuming he's of an evil alignment. In fact, I think we can also confirm that based on whatever this little demonic. What is it, like a wolf's head maybe? Maybe it's not demonic. I don't know. It kind of has that feel to it though. There's some kind of a head right here, like horns maybe, or maybe it's a wolf. Maybe I can turn it sideways and you can kind of see that. Yeah, you kind of can. I'm looking at my screen as I'm turning it here, so I would see what you're seeing. It's really hard to zoom all that in. Look at the detail work on that axe. Pretty cool. Looks like it's kind of a piece that if I wanted, I could add a shield onto this guy or something too, or just leave him the way he is. They're always pretty cool just the way they are. Old school. I never painted my figures. A lot of you probably do or have, but I just never have. This guy's a huge piece. I don't know. This is so big that it almost doesn't even possibly fit that this is human. Surely it's even not. This has got to be a giant of some kind now that I look close at it. Yeah, that's all right. We're going to do a lot of monsters and giants here shortly. In fact, this will end my heroes, so to say, humanoids and dwarves, elves, gnomes, all those kind of classes, and we're going to move on after this. So we'll fit this guy in. He probably could have fit in as a giant somewhere, but he's decked out like a human fighter, so he looks like a bad guy to me. So golly, I'm afraid to turn this over. Oh, gee whiz. All right, if you needed any confidence that this is a bad guy, let's just see if my camera can zoom in on that shield. Nope, it really can't. How about this? I'll pull back just a little bit so that it maybe can. Look at this demonic head that we've got here with like an open mouth. It's like something right out of Doom. Eyes here and the horns coming down the sides. I think we can say with confidence that this is a bad guy anyway. Huge guy. Yeah, really big. Okay, let's zoom back down in so I can get this next one. And we'll finish up. I only got 3 more here and we'll call it a day. Seems like we've kind of seen a guy that was real similar to this with these bat wings on here and an axe. Yeah, I think we may have seen a guy that, well, maybe I had 2 of those and just didn't realize. Alright, in that case, we'll move on kind of fast. Almost seems like we had one that was similar to this, too, now that I think about it. Because I kind of remember the sword here. Yeah, well, just in case, we'll move on to this last one, and then we'll call it a day here. Last piece, pretty cool one with a flail here. Again, it matched those Grenadier pieces that I was talking about from before, but definitely looks like a dark knight of some kind. I mean, imagine how heavy this big ball would be on the end of this flail, and can you imagine whacking somebody with that? Oh my god, the damage would be just devastating. To even swing that thing around would be scary as hell. Imagine that thing coming around and, knowing that at some point you're probably going to hit yourself. I remember there was a time when I had a whip that I bought in Mexico as a kid, and I remember that dang thing would hit me more often than it hit anything else. Well, that'd be kind of the same thing with this. Okay, with that, we'll call it an end to this video. How about put some old school evil heroes here to finish it out. I hope you enjoy reminiscing with me as I go through these, do some close-ups in detail. Oh, that's that guy with that lizard tail. He doesn't really fit. But all right, well, with that, be safe until next time.